Now, one of the things I really love about this channel is getting ideas from you folks out there, whether it's a book idea or a video idea or just a fly to tie. Now, I do get a lot of requests for flies, and what I usually do is I write it down on an index card, stick it up on my cork board, which is right over there, and I've got about 30 index cards on it right now. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind, but we'll knock one of them out today. Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Flies. I'm Matt, thanks for stopping by. So the fly I'm talking about today, someone sent me a picture of this, emailed it to me just a couple of months ago. It was Franky from Missouri. He sent me this picture right here, and I said, hey, that's a great looking fly. What's it called? Let me do some research on it, and I'll consider tying it for the channel. He said, well, it doesn't have a name. I just created it last week. And I was a little bit floored. I thought, wow, I thought the fly probably came out of a book or he got it from a shop. I was just really impressed with the material selection and the proportions he tied it in. I just thought it was a great fly. So I said, Franky, come up with a name, and yeah, definitely we'll tie it for the channel. So Franky fishes the Niangua River. Now, I didn't know anything about the Niangua. It's a tributary to the Osage River, which is in Missouri. So I said, okay. He said, let's call it the Niangua Deuce. I said, that's a pretty cool sounding name. You got it. So what is this fly? Well, Franky tied it, I think, on a 4 and a 6 and a steelhead hook. So it could definitely be an effective steelhead fly. I want to tie it a little bit smaller in an 8. Also on a steelhead hook, but I'm going to fish it as just a big trout wet fly for here on the East Coast. I think you could tie this effectively down to a size 10 or 12. If I was tied in smaller sizes, I'd definitely want a 1X or 2X long hook. But I think it's a really cool looking fly, and I'm sure it's going to be effective in a number of sizes. So do me a favor, leave a comment here and tell Franky what you think of this fly. I think Franky did a great job of designing this pattern, and get this, for someone who's been tying for less than a year. So he's a new tyer. He came up with this pattern. I think he's got a winner here. I certainly had fun tying it. I think you will too. Let's give it a shot. So there it is in the vise, Franky's Niangua Deuce. Now, I don't know if there is a common size for this one. I'm tying it on a size 8, and this is a salmon fly hook. But I think any wet fly hook, 1 or 2X long, would be just fine. And whatever size you fish, tie it in a steelhead size or tie it in a trout size. But you can see this is a steelhead hook. It's got that bend on it and the eye right there. So I'm going to put a little bit just to build that up and smooth out that little transition there. Then I'll take my thread. This is a 70 denier in black, down to the bend of the hook. All right, now we've got 2 components for the tail. Peacock sword. Now you see this is a peacock sword, not herl, the sword fibers. And a good, 4 or 5 or 6 of them, whatever you think looks good. Okay, let's go with about that many right there. It's not a real long tail, per Franky's design. Let's see. Okay, I don't want them really sticking up. Okay, I think that is going to work right there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to build a little bump right here so that when I tie in my mallard flank, it might angle up a little bit. So either snip or just bury these right here. We've got a herl body, so you don't have to keep it real thin. So I think that's fine right there. Now let's tie in the second component of our tail. Just some mallard flank. So one of these little fibers right here. I think a darker would look better, but this is as dark as I had, so I'm gonna go with it. Probably about, 15 or so fibers right here. See that right there? And I'm going to go ahead and roll them. It's got that natural bend, but I probably wouldn't be able to maintain that, so I've just rolled them with my fingers right there, and I'm going to catch it in right there, longer than the peacock sword. So let's catch it in right on top, and if I can use that little bump right there, might help keep them up. Hard to say if it made a difference, but I'll show you one more trick we can do, and it might help. So I got a little fluff right here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim. Okay, that's fine. But what you can do if you don't have the angle you want, take your bodkin, just put it in here, and then put your thumb over the top of it and pull it like that. Now it might give you that little, you know, curl you like. So I think that looks pretty cool right there. Now I'm going to smooth that out right there, and I'm going to tie in my rib. Either a medium or small, I guess depending on the size you're tying, oval silver tinsel. So this stuff right here. I did one of them, well the only one I did just a minute ago, I did in a medium, and I think it was a little big, so let's see how this small does for us. Okay. Catch this end to the back where we're going to start wrapping it. I need to bury that, I got a little bit of excess right there. All right, we're fine there. Now I'm going to bring my thread back up to the middle, and I'm going to catch in, 4 or 5 peacock herl. And this time herl, not the sword fibers. Let's go ahead and neaten that up a little bit. Okay, I think this is about 5, that might be 6. But you'll want to snip off at least an inch in the front of the really brittle stuff. So let's catch this in about, midway. All right. Now what I like to do, I don't always spin these as a rope. I think it mats it down a little bit too much. So I'm going to leave my thread about halfway, and then I'm going to wrap this up, and then when they start spreading out on me, that thread will hold them in place. So let's just wrap these up to where we're going to catch in the front wing and the hackle. So, you know, most of the length of the fly here. Okay, well, let's try one more. Now we do have a wing and a hackle, so I don't want to crowd my eye too much, but I think we're going to be fine right there. So 2 thread wraps should secure that. Go ahead and snip this off. Now I'm going to counter wrap this wire, not wire, but silver tinsel rib. And I think 4 or 5 turns is going to look fine and just help make it a little bit stronger of a fly here. Okay, let's snip this excess off. Now, what I think is probably the hardest part of this fly is the wing. We're going to put a little feather wing under it. So just any hen you've got, and this is from a speckled hen. I think it's a cape feather. So just small ones like this, and then obviously you'll want to strip off all the little fluff till you get something about the size you want. So let's try to catch this in. And I think the challenge is to get them where they're sticking exactly up like that. But if you don't worry about it. I'm going to do 2 feathers, and I'm going to tie them in one at a time. So let's see how that one, okay, it looks good right there, but if you look at the top, it's all twisted. So we might be able to fix that by just putting one more right in front of it and kind of pushing it back. We'll see how this does for us. Okay, I think that's fine right there. They're twisted a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that because we are putting a nice big black hen hackle on it anyway. So let's snip off this excess. I might try to just twist them a little bit straighter right there. And we're fine right there. So now for the front hackle, collar hackle, just black hen. It doesn't have to be a soft hackle, but you do want it to be kind of a soft feather. So this is a black hen. I don't know what it's from. It's probably a cape. It's not a real high quality whiting cape or anything like that. So I'm just going to create that little V-notch, a couple of thread wraps right there. I'm going to fold that back, put a couple more on it, then take my thread up to where I want to build my head. Let's go ahead and snip this tip off right here. And how many do you want? Well, that's up to you. I'm going to try to get about 4. See my wings already laying flat on me. I told you that could happen. If it does, don't worry about it. It's still going to be a pretty good looking fishable fly. And I don't know how many wraps that was. I was kind of talking. It's probably, looks like about 2. And I'm going to try to get maybe 4 if I can. I left enough room in the head, but what you have to be careful with, a feather like this, the stem might be getting pretty thick about your 4th wrap, so you might not be able to get it, but I think that was 4, and we're gonna be okay. So a couple of locking wraps right there. Now we'll snip this stem off. I'll see how thick that was. It wasn't too bad. All right, we've got a little bit of mess right there. Now let's just push these back and build our head. So wet fly head, you know, salmon fly, steelhead fly, big trout wet fly, you can have a big head. And I like the swept back look on these type wet flies, so I'm going to try to get those feathers aimed back. So I think that's going to look fine right there. Let's whip finish it. And I'm going to do another one. That one didn't go on as smooth as I wanted. Okay, that one looks better. And I could have probably made it a little bit bigger head right there and it would have looked fine. But I think we're in good shape. Drop of head cement, maybe a little trimming. Maybe I'll take that feather right there off or just not worry about it. Head cement, call it done. So that's it, everybody. Franky Roberts, Niangua Deuce. Pretty nifty looking pattern. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that off. It was bugging me. So I want to give this a shot here in Maryland. I think it's pretty cool and I think it'll do well. So I appreciate you watching, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time.